Yes, everybody, welcome to the Eagles. It's a little bit of a Christmas special. I'm not sure how many are going to pop up over Christmas. Definitely the last one before Christmas. I have kicked on a fair bit. Last episode, we did the transfer special. We started the season. We've kicked on all the way through until March. I've been playing a lot of Football Manager. I have been punching this table. I've, in the end, given in with the tactic. Not so much the playing team instructions, but we've definitely changed the formation. We've got a 4-2-2 on the go. Let's go and have a little look. Okay, everyone, so at the moment we are rocking this. Let me know your thoughts initially down in the comments. Couple of reasons. We are doing okay. We are 7th in the Eredivisie. We're in this middle group again. You know, we want to be top 9. We want to be top 8. See if we can get into that European playoff with us, Utrecht, Twente, Vitesse, whoever it may be. All right, the others, AZ, Ajax, PSV and Feyenoord have absolutely flown away from everybody else. So we're in this sort of like Europa League kind of playoff position. And it got to the point where we were dominating possession. I'll put a little screenshot up now and I text one of my buddies, Dan Gear, and I basically said, the tactic's dead. And it was not always as strong as that. But in and around this area here, we were dominating the ball, but just not creating enough chances. We were looking at less than XG of a 1 a game, and it just isn't enough. Now, there's a couple of games in there that are a little bit different, but on the whole, I decided to change, and we've changed in and around here. I changed it for the second half against Hercules, and we came with a goal, and then I decided to go with it, and we've had a couple of decent wins in there. I think the most important thing is that we're creating more chances, and I'll give a little reason to that why, and it's obviously an obvious reason. Ajax 3-2, kind of outplayed, but we hung in there. Free kick and an own goal, but it was a decent performance. And then the Den Haag game was just a crazy opening 25 minutes. We actually kind of leveled it up in terms of XG and possession and stuff like that, but we were 3-0 down after 25 minutes and the game was done. We're going to play Emmen today. However, let's go into the tactic and explain a few tweaks. So obviously we've gone to a back 4. Now what I've tweaked is we've got obviously no libero. We've got no ball playing defenders. They are not doing what I wanted them to do in the back 3. Remember, we wanted our back 3 to drive with the ball. We wanted them to dribble with it. We wanted to commit players, try and break lines a little bit by dribbling the ball. We tried stopper, tried defend. We've also tried the wide centre-back, which is not the role. I don't want them to break lines going around there. All I'm asking SI was basically have our defenders carry the ball, and they don't. They often hold on to the ball for too long, and then sometimes there's just the bizarre passes that they do, the long passes. So we've turned it on to a central defender on defend, and we're asking them to take fewer risks, which hopefully then plays into the thing that they just play it into this middle area here, play it back to the goalkeeper, they play it out to our fullbacks. Fullbacks of which are on fullback on defend, as it's a very, very narrow tactic. We do need a lot from them. However, I don't need a great amount of constant, the complete wing back. They are getting into really good areas in terms of high enough up the pitch, but just getting back and a little bit more defensive responsibility rather than a complete wing back has worked really nice. Into the middle midfield, we've got a half back in, one of my favourite roles on FM, so we've got a half back in to help us build out from the back. It also then allows the fullbacks to push on a little bit, and then we've got the register in there. Romans has been out for a considerable amount of time. He is on the bench today. Looks like he's fit enough. He will get himself back in, but has not played much, and he's already ended up missing 9 of the league games. De Jong is in there, has done an adequate job. I'm really happy with him. He's progressing well. 6.94, no assists, only 1 goal, but he's getting lots of game time. He's already had 8 starts, 10 appearances. I think he's just short of 1,000 minutes as well in his debut season, playing in what is a difficult role for him to do. Now, into the next ones. We've tried, through the period of results this season, there was constant tweaking with how to develop these 2 roles here, what roles they should be. Should they go on beyond that lone striker? Shall we go back to an inside forward? And whatever I did, we just weren't creating any chances. So We've gone to 2 attacking midfielders on support, both with the player instructions of stay wider, tackle harder, and take more risks. So what I'm aiming for them to do is, and they actually do it quite well without the ball, we end up defending like a 4-4-2, and they drop into these areas here, which is really useful. I think down the line, the ideal dream would be to get a double trequartista in there, but for now, we're just going to go with the attacking midfielders on support. Hopefully they'll show you the areas in today's game that I'm wanting them to get into. And then up front, we've got Nolly, who I think he's going to be easy to recruit. I think we were desperate to get a striker in last year. He doesn't, he's finishing his 11 and his pace is 12, passing 10. So he's not. It's just we need a little bit more pace, a little bit more power up there in terms of working channels and stuff. So that's why we've gone with an advanced forward. And what it does give us, when there is an out ball and we're under the cosh a little bit, having 2 players up there does help us break. It's in particular Bars and Dej clipping balls into the channel for Moser to get on. Now Moser is he 17 yet? Yeah, he's just turned 17. He's our regen from last season. He hasn't scored yet. He's only got 1 assist. All right, 6.59 average rating, but he's improving dramatically. We're doing okay with him, and then what we have got on the bench is players like Adi Kanye comes on and has been really good coming off the bench. He can either play as a pressing forward or as an advanced forward. And we've also even given a game to Van Duggan at times, 8 appearances coming off the bench, and he's managed to score a nice little goal. So that is the tactic. Now, the team instructions haven't really changed. We are pressing extremely high up the pitch. We're trying to be more expressive still. All of that has stayed the same. Still lower tempo, still shorter passing, but it just gives us a little bit more, I think, in that attacking third. Our possession stats will drop. However, I think, in particular, the screenshot that I showed you, we're keeping possession for possession's sake at the moment. And it gets to the point where we're just keeping the ball lovely. And then there'll be one horrific SI football manager, Miles Jacobson, awful highlight where they'll just give the ball away for no apparent reason and the other team will go and score. And that's when I start getting violent with this cheap Amazon desk and I can't afford to buy a new one. So I thought something has to change. All right. And I think now we know the kind of players that I want to recruit for next season in terms of the strikers. Noel will maybe try and move on a little bit. Moser might be ready for a little bit more game time, but we know the profiles. I think I want 2 strikers up there that are big and physical. 2 roles that worked really well. Pressing forward and advanced forward in my playoffs win was having a Nunes up there and a Rashford. So someone with sheer pace, decent work rate, and then someone who maybe like a Nunes, maybe 6 foot plus, can work the channel still, good pace, good engine, good work rate. That sort of player. I think that's what we'll look for the front 2. The middle 2, I think we'll look at players that can do like a attacking midfield, left centre kind of role. So a bit like a playmaker. But if we ask them to go out on that left-hand side, we could play with 2 advanced playmakers or 2 inverted wingers with a few team instructions to change, just in case we need to change it up. And then the same on that side, maybe someone who can play right mid, right attacking. I don't want the winger. It's got to be a creative player. So I'm thinking of someone like, like a Juan Mata back in the day. Someone that can play on the right-hand side, play in the middle, but he's not going to go out on that right-hand side to be a winger. He wants to cut in on his left foot. Those Messi, Neymar, those sort of players, they might be a little bit more harder to come by. All right? That is the basis behind it. I think the most important thing, we've been scoring goals, which when you're playing this game and you're playing an extended highlights, you want to see some action. And we've had a little bit of action over the last few weeks. It's a really disappointing result to Den Haag, but we're in and around that top 8. We wanted that European place. What is the cup situation? Because the cup winner goes to that 5th place. Ajax and Heerenveen. That's interesting. Obviously, you'd expect Ajax to win that. My only issue is that I wonder if you people that watch the Eredivisie, there's a few people that have helped me so far in the save. Heerenveen lose it. Are they still going to get a Europa League place? Because Ajax are probably going to get a Champions League place. That used to work in England with the FA Cup and stuff. So let me know down in the comments if you know the answer to that. That would be great. I'm hoping it'll be the winner. And then we'll have 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th going into Europa League playoff place. I think, yeah, that's the one that I was after. So yeah, 5th, depending on the winner of the cup, by the looks of it, we're looking at 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. And then that will be, hopefully, an opportunity to get into Europe. Money-wise, we're doing okay. We are overspending on our wages by 11,000 or 12,000 a week now because I've had to extend a new contract to a couple of players to make sure they were staying for next season. We've got a fair few players that are leaving. I think the money will be around break-even again. We get about 5 million, I think, for the Eredivisie for where we finish. So that'll put us into a little bit of plus for the season. I am going to do an episode next week's episode when we get back into the routine. We're going to look at our prospects. We're going to talk about also the face pack that I now have in the game. There may be already a few questions about that. That'll be in next week's episode where we look at some regens and we do a little bit of scouting in certain parts of the world to see what we could potentially pick up in the summer. That's how we've been going. Let's go and see how we get on against Emmen, who I think are just below us in the table. Diego Tardelli is still with us. However, he is leaving at the end of the season. His contract was out at the end of the season. You know, that's a lot of money. £3,000 a week, that's 150 grand we spent on a player who's had 3 sub-appearances off the bench. Junior is the defender that we got from Nigeria. What team was it in Nigeria? Remo Stars. He's just a little bit erratic. He plays quite well. However, look at that value. He has been capped by Nigeria. I think we need to cash in on that. I'm not a huge fan of him because he does keep making a couple of daft mistakes. He has only got a concentration of 8 and composure of 8, so not ideal. And we have got players like Aken, Baz and Amorpha, so it may be one of those players that we can sell on and make a little bit of profit of. Right, that is the team. Let's go. Let's get Romans in. Well, let's get Romans in. Romans in for you, De Jong. Hove was kind of our big signing of the season. He's just struggled a little bit, like Antonucci. 4 assists, 3 goals, 7 goal contributions. 7 goal contributions for him. Not enough, really, so far in the season. We want that at least in double figures by now. Hopefully can at least get to that by the end of the season. And then Noll has done okay, to be fair to him. I think, he's not worth a great deal, so we may look at keeping hold of him. He is on a lot of money, though, depending on what comes up in the summer. We have also got Mosa, Adi Kanye as well as backup, so we'll see what to do with him. But XG of 8.71 and he's got 13 goals. So maybe we just need to feed him a little bit more. He just doesn't have that pace. We're wanting them 2 strikers to really stretch the play and he doesn't quite give us that with the sort of like the lack of pace that he has. Right, enough of the chat. Let's get the game going. If I just try and show once we get going. See, there is Hove. He's actually coming out and doing the right midfield job. And then you've kind of got your 4. There is Antonucci. So we are kind of defending in a 4-4-2, which is really good. It does help in these wide areas because obviously with an arrow tactic, that is the worry, that you get caught out in these wide areas. We get caught out down the middle, just like that anyway. So what does it matter? I am finding the defending absolutely shocking in FM. Just general lack of problem solving in terms of moving across and tracking runners and like that. Simple pass through. He's just jogging. And it's a lovely dink, to be fair. And we're 1-0 down after 2 minutes. How lovely. And they're right up our asses now. It could be a little bit of battle between 5 or 6 clubs for those European playoff places. We have lost 2 consecutively. I was hoping that the Den Haag game was a bit of a blip. I don't want to have to change the tactic again. I think I'm going to go with this because I think if I can recruit better and we have better strikers as Nolly's in, he's found Antonucci, and that is exactly the issue that we still have. The quality in wide areas. Sorry, the quality in attacking areas. Not taking our chances. Dej, we don't create that many. And then when we do, we're still pretty wasteful. So I'm hoping we can have... Now, I kind of really know what I want from this team and what I think the match engine needs a little bit. We need a little bit more pace. Like working these channels a little bit more does help us get up the pitch. Coopers, Deji's there, the right back. And he's headed it onto the post. It nearly fell into the path of Moser, who's still not scored for us, the young Albanian. Today would be nice if he can get off the running. But we're creating chances. We're already on 0.59 XG. That was generally what we were playing with for about a run of 10 games. Really struggled to recreate. And I said, now Noel's working the channels well. Denens? I don't know where I got Denens from. That was Deji. I think I was trying to compare Romans and Deji. And we got Denens. It was Romans to Deji. Right. We're half an hour, over halfway. Look, we're dominating the ball. 72% possession. We might just have to widen the pitch out a little bit. Something that I have been tweaking a little bit. We're fucking 2-0 down. Oh, my God. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's have a look. To be fair, we jumped for it for a change, which is nice to see with your defenders. Goalkeeper making a mistake. I don't see that. Oh, dear. We're just getting sucker punched at the moment, like the Den Haag was. Oh, it is. We're going to be 3-0 down at half-time, boys. The game's killing me a bit. I feel like a Christmas break is needed. Youngster Moses getting a yellow. Those are the most frustrating ones as well because they come from absolutely nothing, don't they? 3-0 down. Decent penalty. Oh, boys. This is not what I wanted. This is not what I was expecting. We're now going to have 3 defeats in 3. Right, I can. Williamson. Out to Antonucci. This is what we do. So we progress the play. Look at the fullback on attack. There's Antonucci with the left-sided cam dropping in. We've built up with the 3 at the back as well, with the half-back Williamson dropping in. Allows Kuipers to kick on. Needs a little bit of support. He's done well, to be fair, as Kuipers. He's found Deji on the right-hand side. He shoots again from distance. We've got work it onto the box. He's a right back. Can't we find a pass or a little cross there? Right. Dear God. They've got an XG of 1.12, but they did have a pen. Right. We go again, boys. Dearie me. Maybe it's just, to be fair, the Ajax game is not a blip. Ajax is Ajax. And if we get out of that without hammered, and we weren't hammered, I thought we played really well. I thought we defended well, even though we conceded 3 goals. Right, Dej. Into Moser. They're the balls that we like. This is what we get with the 2 up front. Moser needs a little bit of help. He finds Dej. He finds Williamson. Hits. That's a really tame effort. And I just think at the moment, if that was the other way around, those would be going into the top corner. Moser. Working the channel really well again. He's lost out. He's found Romans. He's just gone wide. It's a decent start to the start to the second half though. So they're quite open. They're not sitting back. Taking a quick free kick. What on earth is that? Hey, someone tell me what the frig that was. Just like no backlift. There's no one there. Not anybody there. When you're losing the game 3-0, they're not the things you want to see. Hove's in again. Not a great cross again. Right, Schmidt. We are going to do a double change. We're going to get Adi Kanye and Dungan on up front just to give us a little bit of an option. A little bit different. Noel, for some reason, has managed to get a 7.1. Not quite sure how, but he's got one. Well done. But he is coming off. And we'll go with Van Dongen and Adekanye up front. Just to change it. Can we get back into it? See, Adekanye has looked actually pretty decent coming off the bench. Right, Antonucci, Van Anken. We'll do a change. A couple of more changes there. We just give the ball away. Straight pass. Good save. Was that a really good save for the goalkeeper? It was. What's he doing there? Going to take Romans off as well because the game's gone. We haven't got much in here in terms of the cams, if I'm honest. Once we get through those subs, and I'm often bringing this dude on, the guy that's like 6'4", and he's just like, he can't do anything really, to be honest. He's just like 12 at everything. But he can play in a few positions. He has been a little bit useful for us. I think he was the guy that we got from Dortmund too. Let me just show you him. Urbavine. There you go. He scored 2 goals and assists, but like he's nowhere near at the standard, is he? And it's disappointing as well. Really disappointing now that we're dropping to 8th. We're still in the mix. That it's going to be a fight for those 5, 6, 7, 8th, maybe even 9th and 10th. But I'll be really gutted. Similar to last year. I think it's going to be offside, It is offside. Really disappointed that we kind of dropped off towards the end of last season as well. I really don't want to be finishing any lower than 8th. I'll be disappointed if we finish any lower than 8th. Canberra 11th and on 27. So you'd expect us to stay clear of them. But we need to sort this out. I'm not seeing anything in particular in the match engine itself in terms of tactically what we could do to stop those goals. Let's just see that goal again. So he cuts in. And to be fair, it's a wonderful pass, but like, we've closed the ball down. Like, if I'm being picky, that gap's too big, but there's nothing FM-wise that we can do about that. is there. That's the thing. I suppose people are whinging about it in the match engine, playing back fours, and we've gone to a back four. I suppose if we'd have had a back three in there, we might have cut it out, but yeah. One was a set piece, one was a pen. Oh, boys, and that's it. 3-0. Really disappointing. And we're on a run, and we've conceded 9 goals in the last 3 games now. So that's a worry. We need to fix that. As I said, next episode, which will probably be just after Christmas, maybe Monday next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, we need to start looking at youth prospects and what we can do in the transfer window in the summer. I'm going to stick with this to the end of the season. I don't see many tweaks going in. The only maybe tweak we do is we get rid of the register and put something else in there that is really defensive, but I don't know what. You know, we can't put a double half back in with 2 centre-halves. That won't work. But I want to keep the register. I think trying to dictate something from deep, trying to get those... The idea is that we get Roman's the register firing either passes into the channels, switches of play to the fullbacks, or these progressive passes, these 20, 30-yard passes along the floor into these 210s. That's what we would like to see. All right, guys. Right, we will come back. I don't know when we will come back. Obviously, once the youth team intake has been done anyway, so that'll be over sort of like the next... I'll try and maybe get 6 or 7 games in. We may actually even just come back at the end of the season, you know, and do a little season review, go through what we've done, how the tactics then done over these final games. You know, there's some good games in there. Vitesse away, who are just below us. Fortuna Sittard at home. Feyenoord away. Herenveen, oh no, maybe quite difficult actually. PSV at home. 20 away. NEC at home. And Canberra away. We may have a difficult run to the end of the season. I just, fingers crossed, if I could get 8th, I would definitely take 8th right now. Okay, and we need to shut up shop at the back. We're still in minus goal difference after that 3-0 hammering by FCMN. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great Christmas. We'll see you not in the New Year, that little weird week in between Christmas and New Year. We'll be back. All right, guys, take care. All the best. See you later.